Hello, viewers. In this video, we are going to talk about the credit card landscape in India, and we are also going to talk about how should you be looking at SBI cards, whether you should be an investor in it, and what is my long-term view on this specific stock at play. So, without waiting ado, let's get started. So, we are going to talk about SBI cards and payments, the name under which it is listed in both the stock exchanges. This is a very important number that less than 5% of Indians own credit cards. And if you compare it with, and this number is as on May 2023, and if you compare it with some of the developed markets, almost 83% of Canadians own a credit card, almost 67% of Americans own a credit card, and almost 58% of people in New Zealand also own a credit card. 56% of people in Spain own a credit card. So, if you look at the overall developed economies of the world, the credit card penetration is very high, and India is at a very nascent stage. Only 5% of us do own a credit card among the 140 crore population we have. So there is a lot of scope for this industry to grow, and that is why we are going to look at how this industry is shaping up and what should be your future course of action on the stock which we are focusing on is SBI cards in this video. So let's get started. This is another stat which has come out very recently, that the credit card dues have first time crossed 2 lakh crores, and this number has gone up by almost 30% in 1 year, and it has the pace at which it is growing is at a very high pace, and it is 2x as fast as bank loans. So during the same period of 1 year, the bank credit has gone up by 15.9%, but the card dues have gone up by 29.7%. So specifically for the credit card segment in India, this is a very good news, because this segment is really getting hot, and the growth is so much more. It's 2x as fast as the bank loans in the country. Now this is another number which has another which is for the first time the share of card dues in bank credit has inched up to 1.4%, and it has always been below 1% for a very long period of time, almost for a decade. And it is for the first time that the credit card outstanding is at 1.4% as on today, uh, June 2023, and it is the number three biggest segment in terms of personal loans. So if you look at in personal loan category, the housing is number one category, vehicle loans is number two, and credit card is at number three category. And looking at the pace at which this industry is growing, our guess is that it will also be overtaking vehicle loans in the near future. So, with that background, let's look at what are the prominent players in the credit card segment in India, and what should be our take on specifically on SBI cards. So, this chart which you see on the screen is basically showing the number of credit cards different banks have their customers. So the red line is basically HDFC Bank. And if you look at it, HDFC Bank as on today have close to 180 crore credit cards, 180 lakh credit cards in the market, 1.8 crore credit cards. And SBI is at number two with close to 174 lakh customers in the market. They are 174 lakh credit cards they have in the market, and ICICI Bank is at number three with close to 145 lakh rupees. But what is really interesting to see here is, and this chart is showing the growth trajectory for all the three prominent banks in India. If you look at SBI card, it has been having a very steady growth, and it is converging with the HDFC, and it may even overtake HDFC in a few months from now. HDFC had a big dip in the month of August last year, and after that it has been trying to stabilize. But for SBI card, it has only been going up and up. Almost last year in April 2022, SBI had 1.4 CR customers, and now it has gone up to close to 170 lakh customers, which is equivalent to 1.7 CR. So SBI card, in terms of their growth, has been doing a fantastic job, and it is the only credit card company among the top three which has been growing at a very, very steady and convincing pace. Now, let's look at the market share of the top three banks. As SBI cards, the blue line represents SBI cards, and it is almost hovering between 19 to 20%. And again, this number has only been going up and up and up for SBI card. It had a very small dip from March to April, but that was for HDFC as well. But if you look at overall, compare the top three banks, SBI, the market share, even though is between 19 to 20%, but it is the only one which has made a steady progress over the last 1.5 years. If you compare it with HDFC and ICICI, they have their ups and downs, but SBI to me has been very consistent in their performance. Now, again, this is another parameter or another metric which will help you to understand how the credit card industry in India can explode. And it right now it is at a very nascent stage. If this is basically a chart of the number of transactions which are done on every card per month, and again we have looked at the top three banks, and we have looked at how this number has been basically evolving, or how this number has been changing month on month for the last close to 1 year. So if you look at this data, uh, almost the SBI card is basically the one which is right at the bottom in this chart. But also, for the matter that a lot of customers have their first credit card as SBI. So the number of transactions which are happening on SBI per month is close to three. This was almost three last in May 2022, and it has gone down to almost 2.8 transactions happening every month. And here HDFC and ICICI are winning the war or winning the battle, because they are having more transactions per card per customer every month. This number for HDFC is close to 3.6, and for ICICI this number is almost close to 3.4. So obviously they have HDFC and ICICI typically have customers who are in the upper category of their income, and they are more likely to use credit cards. So there is no surprise here that SBI is on the lower side in terms of number of transactions happening per month, but there is so much huge potential for SBI to grow, and they are having a very steady growth. So now let's also look at the number of value per transaction which are happening for the top three banks. So when you swipe your card online, or when you go to a POS and swipe your card, what is the average value of a transaction for these top three banks in India? And if you look at it, SBI is close to 5,000 rupees. They had a very big jump between August to September last year, from 4,500 the average transaction value gone up to 5,000 rupees, and they are at number two position here. Where if you see that the number of, or the average transaction value for SBI is 5,000, and HDFC is actually leading with close to 6,000 rupees, and ICICI is almost very close to SBI, close to a little less than 5,000 rupees, or 4,800 rupees for that matter. So SBI, in the overall scheme of things, mostly is at number two positioning, even from a market share, and even for the value per transaction. But what it basically shows us is that if this value per transaction was to go up, and credit card companies make money by, they want you to swipe your credit card, and they would want to make money by basically so that in case you don't pay your bill on time, so you have to pay an interest on it. And if this number goes up month on month, the average transaction value, which is very high for a country like India, close to 5,000 rupees, there is a very good chance that this will translate into higher income for credit card companies as well. So mostly it has been on the higher side, but yes, SBI does have a dip in the last 1 month, between April to May. But overall, if you look at the industry, the numbers are very, very positive. They look very convincing. Now, also let's look at another metric or another indicator. What is the average bill which is generated per month on these credit card companies. And if you look at this chart, it wouldn't be a surprise for you that HDFC is leading the pack. The average monthly bill for an HDFC credit card is close to 22,000 rupees. Uh, and then for SBI is the lowest, because it also caters to a lot of middle class and the lower middle class as well. And the average bill for SBI is close to 14,000 rupees. It did have a peak around 15,000 rupees, but it did come back to 14,000 rupees at the end of May 2023. But overall, again, this number looks very convincing for a country like India, that the average bill that is generated for any credit card is close to, it ranges between 14 to 22,000 rupees, where HDFC is leading the pack and SBI card is at the lowest, but still it's a convincing number. And if this number was to go up, again, it will translate into higher revenue for most of these credit card companies. Okay, so I think now you have looked at the entire landscape of credit cards. We have looked at the top three banks. Now let's look at how the share price of credit card has moved in the last uh, since IPO. So the IPO of SBI Cards was around 2020, March 2020, where it had a listing of 1029, and currently it is. Priced at 850 rupees, 848 rupees when we record this video on 30th June. But if you look at the growth and the opportunity of this sector, and especially the growth opportunity which the credit card industry is, my take is that in the last 3 years, SBI has only been increases the number of credit cards it has in the market. It has also been narrowing the gap with HDFC Bank. The average transaction value is going up. The number of transactions happening per month is also going up. So in the last 3 years, SBI Cards has only had a chart in the positive direction with a few lows, but overall it has been a positive trajectory. So if you guys are my take is that you should be investing in SBI cards, because overall the industry is growing, and specifically SBI cards is also is showing positive trajectory. So 848 seems to be on the lower side. You should look at picking up this stock. You are getting it at a good price, and then it should definitely hit its price of 1029, which was during its IPO, and it should actually be growing. So if you are a long term investor, you should be definitely look at this industry very very carefully, and would want you should maybe invest in SBI cards with a long term view. So hopefully you like the content of what we create. You can also put any comments of any future content you would want to hear about. And I wish you all the best in your investment journey, and thanks for watching this video.